You know, in any hotel, there are these moments of truth. They're the critical points that can totally define a guest's stay. And honestly, one of the biggest ones is the room move. It's an unexpected hassle that, if you handle it poorly, can absolutely wreck your reviews. But if you handle it perfectly, it becomes a story of amazing service they'll tell everyone. So, let's dive into this essential front office procedure.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with why this moment is so incredibly important. Then we'll walk through how to handle the request itself, the nitty-gritty of executing the move, getting the whole team on board, mastering that guest interaction, and finally, making sure you close the loop so nothing gets missed.
First things first, it's all about mindset. A room move isn't just some logistical headache to get through. No, it's a real test of your service skills. This is your chance, right here, to turn a bad situation into a moment that actually builds loyalty.
And that brings us to the big question you have to ask yourself. Is this a crisis that you just need to contain, or is this a golden opportunity to prove just how much you care about that guest's comfort? And trust me, how you answer that, well, it changes everything.
So, why do guests even need to move? Well, it's rarely for no reason. A lot of the time it's a service issue, right? Like a broken AC, a leak, or maybe they got the wrong room type. Other times it's a noise complaint, a simple housekeeping miss, or hey, sometimes it's a good thing. A guest wants to upgrade their experience. Figuring out the why is always the first step.
Okay, so let's focus on that first. Absolutely critical interaction, the moment the guest asks to be moved. How you handle this sets the tone for everything that follows.
It really boils down to 3 things you have to do right away. First, just listen. Really listen. Let them explain everything without jumping in. Second, if it's our fault, a genuine, sincere apology is non-negotiable. And third, you have to give them immediate reassurance. Saying something like, "I completely understand and I'm going to fix this for you right now," builds instant trust.
So we've handled that initial conversation perfectly. Now it's time to get into the technical side of things. And this part, in your property management system and with the room keys, this requires absolute precision. No room for error here. All right, first things first, you've got to jump into the PMS. You need to find a new, perfect room for your guest. And that means looking for rooms that are not just available, but are clean, vacant, and ready to go this very second. And look, you're not just grabbing any old empty room. The details here are so important. You need a room that's at least the same category or even better and upgrade. You have to double check that it isn't blocked for another arrival or for maintenance. That's a huge pitfall. And you absolutely must confirm its status is vacant, clean, inspected. Seriously, the last thing you ever want to do is move a guest from one problem straight into a new one. Once you've found that perfect new room, the next step is to update the guest's reservation in the PMS. This is where you can't afford to make a single mistake, because it affects billing, their profile, everything.
And this brings up a really important point, something people get mixed up all the time. Are we doing an upsell or an upgrade? An upsell is simple. The guest wants a better room, they agree to pay more, so you change the rate. But an upgrade is something we initiate, usually to fix a problem. We move them to a better room, but their original rate stays exactly the same. You have got to get this right for the billing to be correct.
Look, a room move is not a solo mission. It's a team sport. For the guest to have a smooth, seamless experience, you need lightning-fast, crystal-clear communication with a bunch of other departments. Everyone has to be on the same page instantly.
So let's break down who needs to know what. You got to tell housekeeping the old room is free so they can go in and get it ready. If it was a maintenance issue, engineering needs all the details so they can schedule a fix. Room service, they need that new room number so any orders don't go to the wrong place. And of course, the bell desk needs to be looped in to help with the luggage. It's this chain of communication that prevents any more problems.
Okay, so all the behind-the-scenes work is happening. Now we circle back to the most important person in this whole process, the guest. This is where we go from just fixing a problem to creating a truly memorable service moment.
Okay, this right here, this is the golden rule. I want you to burn this into your brain. The guest is already being inconvenienced. Making them schlep all the way back to the lobby for a new key, that is just not okay. You go to them, always. So here's how you make it that 5-star experience. You, or maybe a bell person, personally bring the new key right to the guest. You offer to help with their luggage, and you make it happen. If the whole thing was the hotel's fault, a small apology amenity like a fruit plate or a simple note goes a long way. And finally, the masterstroke. A quick follow-up call, maybe 15 minutes after they're in the new room, just to make sure everything's perfect.
That's how you do it.
All right, the guest is happy in their new room, everything seems great, but wait, we're not quite done yet. The last part of this whole thing is all about proper documentation. It's about making sure the next shift knows exactly what happened.
This is all about leaving a clear trail. You need to add detailed notes right in the PMS explaining why the move happened. This helps build guest history and can even flag a room that has recurring problems. Then, update your shift logbook so the next team is in the loop. And finally, just one last check to be sure all the billing is pointed to the new room number. Perfect.
You know, when it's all said and done, there are really only two ways this can go. Handle a room move poorly, and yeah, you're looking at bad online reviews and a guest who's never coming back. But handle it with real professionalism, with empathy and precision. You don't just fix a problem, you create a fan for life. You make that person feel genuinely cared for.
So the next time that phone rings, or a guest walks up to your desk looking stressed, remember what this is. It isn't just a problem to be solved, it's a moment of truth. So how are you going to make it a story worth telling?